I'm going to be talking to Ian Miron, who is a lawyer with Ecojustice, the environmental group that's launched a legal challenge to the federal government's approval of the Bay du Nord oil project off the east coast of Canada. So, welcome to the interview, Ian.
Thank you very much for having me.
Why don't we start with an overview of the challenge that you've launched, please?
Yes, Ecojustice is going to court on behalf of our clients, Sierra Club Canada and Equiterre. And essentially, we're going to court to overturn the federal government's approval of the Bay du Nord project. And there are really two bases for that challenge. The first and foremost is that in conducting and approving the environmental assessment, the Minister of the Environment didn't actually look at downstream greenhouse gas emissions that will be associated with this project. And we believe that was a breach of his legal obligations, and we'll be arguing that in the challenge. We are also making arguments about the minister's failure to consider impacts caused by the added shipping traffic that would be associated with the project and potential impacts on species at risk and marine biodiversity that may follow.
Well, let's talk about the first challenge. One of the justifications that Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault gave for the approval is the low carbon intensity of the oil from production. So about 8 kilograms of CO2 equivalent compared to, let's say, the oil sands, which averages 70. But you're arguing that it's the scope 3 emissions, the downstream emissions created by the burning of the oil when it's turned into gasoline or diesel, that the government didn't address. Is that correct?
That's right. I mean, that rhetoric around clean oil ignores essentially the fact that the process of extracting the oil only accounts for about 10% of the emissions from the project, and the other 90% come from those scope 3 emissions. So there's a significant gap in the analysis.
Is there provision within the Environmental Impact Assessment Act for the consideration of scope 3 emissions?
Well, we certainly believe there is. The minister is tasked with deciding whether there are significant adverse environmental effects associated with the project. And our argument will be that that does include scope 3 emissions, and certainly consistent with climate science, and this government suggests that it does understand the science. We believe that it is imperative that those emissions are considered.
Are there any precedents for challenging oil and gas extraction projects on the basis of scope 3 emissions?
Well, it's certainly in the past the federal government has looked at scope 3 emissions in some environmental assessments. One example would be the Energy East pipeline, where although that process was ended early, had it proceeded, those scope 3 emissions would have been part of the analysis.
Yeah, that's right. Now that you mention it, I remember when the National Energy Board added those onto the review, and TC Energy, the proponent, actually cited those in its decision to withdraw the proposal for review. So interesting. I'd forgotten about that. Well, let's talk about the environmental impacts. This sounds your challenge on this side sounds like the same kind of challenge that First Nations brought, West Coast First Nations brought against the Trans Mountain Expansion pipeline project.
Well, I mean, in that case, there was certainly Indigenous consultation issues at play, and our clients obviously are not raising those concerns, but certainly our clients are concerned with the significant threats that the rapid expansion of offshore oil and gas drilling poses to marine ecosystems and the communities that depend on them.
Right. I remember on the TMX side there, when it was challenged, it was around, part of it was the impact of marine shipping on marine mammals, particularly killer whales. So is that the kind of impact that you're referring to?
That's right. There's concerns that the impacts of that shipping, whether it be from noise, whether it be from increased risk of spills associated with the oil that's being transported, as well as, of course, the greenhouse gas emissions associated with that shipping. But that is the sort of that is the concern that's raised. I mean, these are some of the most important marine environments in the world. They host a large amount of ocean life, from endangered cod to Atlantic salmon to humpback whales to corals and sponges, and they've sustained local communities for years. So people's livelihoods depend on clean and healthy ocean conditions.
Now, walk us through the process here. You've launched the challenge in federal court,
That's
if I
correct.
understand that correct. And so how long until you expect a decision?
Well, this is just the very start of the process. Of course, there's a number of steps to be completed, assuming that there are no interlocutory motions or anything of that nature. So the parties have to exchange evidence, they have to exchange arguments. It's difficult to predict when a hearing might take place. Could be by the end of the year, but again, that's a guess.
Now, I've covered a lot of these over the years, Ian, and I remember a comment from a University of Houston law professor, energy law professor, Victor Flatt. And he said that in the United States, over the last, I forget how many years, 5, 10 years, he said every oil and gas project is being legally challenged. If you're talking about a pipeline across the state borders, and it is that the strategy now that Canadian environmental groups are embracing, that all of these projects will face a legal challenge?
Well, I can't speak for all Canadian environmental groups, but with respect to this specific project, I think the bottom line for our clients and for us is that this project is incompatible with a climate safe future. There's plenty of reports from international bodies about the need to prevent any further extractive projects from going ahead, given where we are with the climate emergency. And, that is certainly motivating our clients to bring this particular challenge.
Great. Well, Ian, thank you very much for this. Appreciate it.
Thank you.